Alright, so again, arithmetic sequences. Okay, we call that an arithmetic sequence, right? Not arithmetic. Okay, so the definition, we got some vocabulary to start with. So the definition of an arithmetic sequence is a number sequence formed by adding a fixed number, okay, key word there, a fixed number to each term of the sequence to find the next term. Alright, so again, we have a sequence, right? A sequence is just a list of numbers. And this number sequence is formed by adding a fixed amount to each term, right? Okay, so we have the terms 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's an arithmetic sequence because I'm adding a fixed amount to each term, right? I started out with 2, that was my initial value. I added 2 to it and I got 4. I added another 2, I got 6. I added another 2, I got 8. So it's an arithmetic sequence. Okay, so that's the basis of what we're talking about in this first concept. So the common difference, okay, the common difference is what I'm going to add or subtract or multiply or divide between two terms in my arithmetic sequence. Alright, so it's the difference between term 1 and term 2, which will be the same between term 2 and term 3, and the same between term 3 and term 4. Etc., etc., etc. So the common difference, which we denote as D, common difference, which we denote as D, is the difference between two consecutive terms. Alright, so the first formula, okay, we have a formula. We actually have two formulas for arithmetic sequences, but the first one we're going to learn is called the explicit formula. The explicit formula expresses the nth term of a sequence in terms of n. Okay, so now what does it mean to be the nth term? The nth term can be whatever you want it to be, right? So if I say, okay, here's my sequence, 2, 4, 6, 8, find the 20th term. N would be 20. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8, there's your sequence. Find the 100th term. N would be 100. And I can go on and I can go on. Right? So I can ask you to find a certain number, a certain term within that sequence. Okay, well you're not going to want to go into a calculator and type in 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 100 times to get to the 100th term. So we have a formula for that. Okay, so again, the explicit formula is listed right here. The nth term of an arithmetic sequence with first terms a sub 1 and the common difference d is given by this formula. Okay, so again, what does this mean? Alright, so this is the nth term. So in my example, I said, okay, I want you to find the 20th term. That would be a sub n, a sub 20. Okay, so a sub 1 is your first term of your sequence. A sub 1 is your first term. And then plus n, which again, n is the same thing here. I ask you to find the 20th term, or 100th term, or 50th term. That's what I would plug in for n. I'd go n minus 1 times d. And again, d is that common difference. D is the difference between two consecutive terms. Okay, so this is just a little background. All right, it's going to make a whole lot more sense when we start looking at sequences. So again, a sequence is an order list of numbers that form a pattern. Term of a sequence is any term in my sequence. Alright, so let's look at A. A, my sequence is 5, 8, 11, and 14, right? So again, a sequence is just a list of numbers. Sequence is just a list of numbers. And we're looking at these terms. I've got 4 terms here, 5, 8, 11, and 14. Well, if you can recognize that the common difference, how I got from 5 to 8 is I added 3. And again, an arithmetic sequence is going to have the same common difference between every term. So I should be able to add 3 for this 8 right here and get to 11. Same thing, I should be able to add 3 to that 11 and get to 14. Alright, so I know right now that D, which again is the common difference, is equal to positive 3. Okay, I also know a sub 1. Again, what does a sub 1 mean? A sub 1 is your first term. The first term is 5. So, very simple. The question asks, what are the next two terms in the sequence? Well, all you got to do is take 14 and add 3 to it, and you get 17. So the next term would be 17. And then you take 17, and you add your common difference, which is 3, and you get 20. Okay, but what if the question asks, find the 50th term? Well, once again, you're not going to want to add 3 every time. You're not going to want to write 20 and then add 3 and 23 and then add 3, 26, add 3, 29. So again, that's what this formula is for right here. That's what this formula is right here. Okay, let's go to B. Let's go to B. All right, so B again, I have a sequence. A sequence is just a list of numbers. All right, so let me see. Anna, you here?
Yes, sir.
All right, Anna, what is the D? What is the common difference on B? Sorry?
Common difference equals
4,
4.
right? Plus 4. I'm going to add 4. Okay, and again, common difference can be adding, it can be subtracting, it can be multiplying, it can be dividing. Okay, common difference is 4. Great job. Andrew, you here? Hamilton? Oh, sorry, Hampton, excuse me.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Andrew. The common difference is 4. What about A sub 1? What is A sub 1? What is A sub 1 for B? What does A sub 1 mean, Andrew? We've got 4 things in this formula, right? We got the nth term, we got the first term, we got term number, and we got common difference. Of those 4 things, which one is A sub 1? Are you looking at my paper, Andrew?
Yeah.
Which one has A1 with an arrow pointing to it? Huh? Yeah, so A sub 1 is the first term. Okay, so Andrew, I want the first term on B. What's the first term? Fantastic. So again, we need these to be able to then solve for, let's say, the 35th term or the 67th term, etc., etc. All right, so all we're doing is we're setting these up right now. We're going to get our variables or our inputs, okay, and we'll solve in a second. All right, so again, you have your explicit formula. Explicit formula is A sub n. Okay, so for example, find the 70th term. Find the 70th term. Well, if I ask you to find the 70th term, this would be A sub 70. N would be 70. Again, n is the term number, right? What term am I asking you to find? I'm asking you to find the 70th term of the sequence. Okay, well, my first term is A sub 1. And then I would have plus 70, because I'm asking you to find the 70th term, minus 1 times the common difference. So that's what that would look like. Well, we would know the common difference because we would have a sequence, right? Okay, so let's say, for example, we're looking at B. I know the common difference is 4. Well, guess what? That's going to go right there. I know that A sub 1, Andrew told me, is also 4 because that's the first term, which again, A sub 1 is that puppy right there. So if I ask you to find the 70th term, well, guess what? Let's plug in 4, the first term right here, plus 70 minus 1, which is 69, times the common difference, which Anna told me is 4. So 4 would go right there. So 69 times 4, and then I would add 4 to it. And that would give me my 70th term. A whole lot easier than just taking 4, 8, 12, 16, and then adding 4 to it, 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 all the way till you got to 7. Okay, but that's essentially what we're doing. All right, so let's flip the paper over, or scroll down, whatever you're doing. So let's look at some examples where I actually ask you to find certain things. Alright, so it says writing explicit formula for arithmetic sequence. So I've got your formula listed there. Again, this is a sub n. This is the nth term. Right, so that's what I'm asking you to find in most cases. A sub 1, this is the first term. N, which is the term number, and then D, which is the common difference. So that's what all my inputs are going to be. Nothing else is going to change in that equation. Alright, so again, I've got A done for you. It's the same sequence as earlier. Alright, so I've got plus 3 as my common difference, the D. I know my first term, A sub 1, is 5. So I'm going to plug it in. Okay, the question asked me to find the 20th bit. So I know I'm looking for A sub 20. Right, so here we go. A sub 20, the 20th bit, is equal to 5, which is the first term. I got that from right there. A sub 1 is the first term. Plus n minus 1, which again, n is 20th. I'm asking you to find the 20th bit. So I'm plugging in 20 right here. So 20 minus 1, and then the common difference is D. Alright, so again, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the parentheses first. 20 minus 1 is 19. This is just order of operations. Next order of operations would be to multiply. So 19 times 3 is 57. And then last but not least, I'm going to add 5 to that, and I get A sub 20 is 62. Okay, so let's look at B, which again we had B on the other page. So B, the common difference was, or D, was 4, and A sub 1 was also 4. So Camilla, you there? Okay, Camilla, can you help me write my formula? I'm asking you to find the 20th term, right? 20th term for B. So help me out. Tell me what to write. Okay, so A sub 20 equals 4. Okay, hold on. Plus comes first. Okay. 20 minus 1. So Camilla, what are you missing? Okay, the common difference is what's added, subtracted, multiplied, or divided to get from each term. Right, so how did I get from 4 to 8, and then from 8 to 12, and then from 12 to 16? I added 4, correct? Okay, so I've got a 4 right here. All right. Okay, so David, you there? Okay, David, walk me through this. What does this formula mean? Right, A sub 20, what does that mean? How did she get that? Yeah, the 20th term, okay. What is this for? How did she get that? Okay, and then this 20, where did that come from? And then what about this 4 at the end? Great job. Okay, so A sub 20, the 20th term in this sequence, is equal to 4 plus, again, we're going to go in order of operations. So Ishal, will you come up? Ishal? Alright, Ishal, what is 20 minus 1? Alright, so I've got parentheses 19 and then times 4. Okay, so Ishal, the second thing in the order of operations is to multiply. So I'm going to take 19 and multiply by 4. What do you get there? Fantastic. So then A sub 20, the 20th term, is what? Easy breezy. Easy breezy. All right, so now I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. I want you to work on C by yourself. So let's talk about what we need. We need the common difference, D. We need to know what A sub 1 is. And then we can be able to find A sub 20. Again, I'm asking you for the 20th bit, right? I'm asking you that for all 3 of those questions. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up. A sub 20 is equal to. All right, now you need this term. You need plus that minus 1 and then that. So we're going to fill in those blanks. All right, so I'm going to give you about 2 minutes. Again, you need to find the common difference, D. You need to find A sub 1, and you should be able to plug into your formula. And you're looking for the 20th term, the 20th bit. All right, Gollum, what is D? What is the common difference? 7. Okay, 7. Hayes, you there? Okay, Hayes, I can't see you. Can you turn your camera on? Okay, Hayes. Give me a thumbs up if you agree with Gollum. Give me a thumbs down if you don't agree. Okay, all right. That's not what I asked, but okay. Okay, now Hayes, what is A sub 1? What is A sub 1? What is this in this sequence? I'm sorry? Okay, no, Hayes. That's not what we've been learning, buddy. A sub 1 is the first term, Hayes. Okay, what is the first term of this sequence? Hayes. 21, 28, 35, 42. What's the first one? Okay, A sub 1 is 21. Again, don't make it harder than it is. Hamza, you there? Alright, Hamza. I can't see you either. You got your camera on? There you are. Alright, Hamza, help me out. A sub 20 equals what? You got to talk louder, buddy. I can't hear you. 21 plus parentheses 20 minus 1 parentheses 7. Okay, Graham, you there? Graham, thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down if you don't agree. All right, cool. I agree too. All right, so Graham, help me out. Walk me through it. So A sub 20 equals 21 plus, here I've got 20 minus 1, which is 19. Okay, so again, order of operations tells me I'm going to do parentheses first. So 20 minus 1 gave me 19. Now I'm going to take that, I'm going to multiply by the common difference, which is 7. 19 times 7 gram is 133. Okay, and then last but not least, a sub 20 equals 133 plus 21, which is, did you say 154? Yeah, all right, cool. Okay, questions there? Raise your hand. Easy breezy, right? Don't make it harder than it is. Easy breezy. Okay, so now we have another formula, right? So we learned the explicit formula. Now we're going to learn the, what we call recursive formula. Recursive formula defines the terms in a sequence by relating each term to the one before it. Okay, so let's put that in plain English, right? So the recursive formula is going to look at the second term and relate it to the first term. It's going to look at the third term and relate it to the second term. Fourth term related to the third term. Okay, same thing, nothing changed. A sub 1 is still your first term. But here's your formula for the recursive formula. A sub n equals A times n minus 1, A sub n minus 1, my fault, plus D. Okay, so let me rewrite it to show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's talk about what this means. A sub n is what I'm asking. Okay, so like on all my examples, I was asking for the 20th bit. A sub n is A sub 20. Is equal to A sub n minus 1. Well, if A sub n is 20, A sub n minus 1 is A sub 19. So again, we're going to relate it to the term before it, right? So I want to know the 20th term. Well, I need to know the 19th term, and I'm going to add whatever the common difference is to it. That's all the recursive formula is telling you. So going back to my examples, I want you to find the 20th term. We'll take the 19th term and add the common difference. If I wanted you to find the 50th term, take the 49th term, add the common difference. That's all the recursive formula is telling you. Okay, now it says where n is greater than 2, right? So my n, my number of term, has to be greater than 2. No big deal. Recursive definition says the definition of a sequence has two parts, an initial condition and the recursive formula. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, so there's my formula where n is greater than 2. Find the next four terms of my sequence. So I'm looking at A, right? A, we have the sequence 70, 77, 84, 91. So looking at my recursive formula, I know that I need D. Alright, so I'm looking for the common difference between these numbers. So how did I get from 70 to 77? I added 7. How did I get from 77 to 84? Added 7. 84 to 91? Added 7. So the common difference, D, is equal to positive 7. So now I can go ahead and write my recursive formula, right? So the recursive formula, again, is just taking the term that I'm looking for and relating it to the term before that. So it asked me, the question asked me, find the next four terms of the sequence. So you have your fourth term. I want to find the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Well, again, all you're doing, guys, is you're taking the fourth term and you're going to add 7 to it. That's what you already do. I'm just giving you a formula for it. So 91, and I'm going to add 7, and I get 98. So the fifth term, A sub 5, is equal to 98. The sixth term, A sub 6, is equal to 98, which is the fifth term, A sub n minus 1, times D, plus D, and D is positive 7, so I get 105. Now find the seventh term. Okay, we'll take 105, which is the sixth term, and add the common difference, which again the common difference is plus 7. So you get 112. And then last but not least, you get 119. So let's look at B. B's not done for us, so let's do it. Haley, you there? Haley Buchanan, you there? Okay, I'll come back to you. All right, Jessica, you there? Jessica. Okay, somebody that wants to help me. Come on. Just unmute yourself. Come on. Give me somebody. All right, David, thank you. All right, so David, what is the common difference? Fantastic. David, can you see the participants? Can you see who's in the meeting? No. I mean, like, look at your toolbar. Like, if you go on your screen, do you see the little people? Okay, click on that. Does it pop up to the side and says participants? All right, David. Guess what? You get to pick somebody. David, pick somebody for me. Don't pick Jessica. She said her mic's not working. Cameron, you there? Cameron, you there? Looks like Cameron's going to be counted absent also. Okay, David, I need somebody else. Ryan, you there?
Yes.
Thank goodness. Holy cow, Ryan, you've saved us, man. Okay, Ryan. Got the common difference, D. I want to find the fifth term. Help me out. What's the fifth term, Ryan?
6 plus 24 is 30.
Alright, so again, what did you do? A sub 5 is equal to, you did this in your head, right? You took this fourth term, which is a sub n minus 1, which would be a sub 4, and then you added the common difference. So my fourth term, 24 went right there. I added the common difference, which was 6, and I got 30. Okay, give me one more term. What's the sixth term? 36. Fantastic. So again, all the recursive formula is doing is telling you, okay, take the term before it, add the common difference to it. Easy breezy. Flip the paper over. So the difference. Okay, so we talked about two different formulas, right? So we need to know the difference. An arithmetic sequence is represented by the recursive formula, which we just talked about. If the first term of the sequence is 19, write the explicit formula. Right? So we're going to swap between the two formulas. Okay, so I know, with this question here, I know the first term is 19. So I know the first term, a sub 1, is equal to 19. Okay, now looking at this formula right here, a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus 12. Well, what was this? 12 is the common difference. right? Because that's the recursive formula. The recursive formula says a sub n minus 1 plus d. Well, I don't have a d there. I have a plus 12. So I can take those two pieces and I can plug it into my explicit formula. So the explicit formula, again going back, is a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. That's the explicit formula, right? There it is right there. Well, we know what a sub 1 is. We know what the first term is. It's 19. So let's plug that puppy in. We know what d is. We know d is 12. Let's plug that puppy in. Well, there you go. Your explicit formula is a sub n, which again, that can be whatever term I'm asking you for. It could be the 56th. It could be the 5th. It could be the 82nd. It could be the 112th. That's whatever term I'm asking you for, 112th term. A sub n equals a sub 1, 19, n minus 1 times d. Okay, times 12. Okay, so now I'm going to go backwards, right? So the recursive formula is a sub n. That's equal to a sub n minus 1 plus 5. And the first term of the sequence is 10. Write the explicit formula. All right, so again, I know that d is positive 5. I know that a sub 1, first term, is 10. So now I'm able to set up my explicit formula. A sub n equals a sub 1. Okay, I'm working off my explicit formula. A sub n equals a sub 1, which is 10, plus n minus 1. So what am I asking you for? I'm asking you to find the nth term, because I haven't given you anything yet, times 5. And again, I could ask you to find the 56th. I could ask you to find the 42nd. I could ask you to find the 16th. All right, last but not least, we're going to go backwards, right? Okay, so now I'm going to take the explicit formula and I'm going to write the recursive formula. So I've got my explicit formula here. I've got 32. That's going to be the first term. So a sub 1 equals 32. I know that d is the 22, common difference. So now I want to go backwards and write my recursive formula. Right? The recursive formula is a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus d. Well, all you got to do is plug in your d, your common difference. So now looking at b, explicit formula is a sub n equals 21 plus n minus 1 times 7. Write the recursive formula and define the first term of the sequence. Okay, so a sub n equals a sub n minus 1 plus d. That's my recursive formula. Sorry. So now I need to pull d, and I could pull something else out of my explicit formula. Mahir, are you there? All right, Mahir. I want you to tell me what is d from my question here. Yep, b. Fantastic. So I know right now that 7's going right here in place of d. Okay, and it says write the recursive formula and define the first term for the sequence. Okay, so Mahir, can you help me write my recursive formula? Perfect. Okay, and so now where a sub 1, it says to define the first term. Okay, so now I'm here, what is a sub 1? 21, exactly. Okay, how do we get that? We'll look back up here. A sub n equals 21 plus n minus 1 times 7. Again, this is the explicit formula. The explicit formula gives you a sub 1 right here, and it gives you d at the end. Great job. Great job. Manasseh, you there? All right, Manasseh, take us home, right? Take us home. So let's write my recursive formula from this problem right here.
Can we say it?
Yep.
A of n equals a n minus 1 plus d.
Okay, what is d?
D is 4.
Great. And then now where what? Where a sub 1.
1 equals 16.
Fantastic. So again, what are we looking at? We're looking at the explicit formula right here. Explicit formula, this is a sub 1, which is the first term. And then this is the common difference, d. So I can take those two pieces and plug those into my recursive formula. Great job. All right, so those are our notes for today. So now what we're going to work on right now is the practice. So the next thing in that folder. And again, what I've done is I've already put the answer sheet for you. Okay, so all I'm looking at here is I want you to determine whether the sequence is identifying arithmetic progression, right? So is it a sequence or not? Is it a sequence or not? And again, for it to be a sequence, it has to have a common difference. Okay, so let me say, for example, this is not a sequence. That's not a sequence. It's not an arithmetic sequence. Well, why is that not an arithmetic sequence? Because from get to 1 to 3, I added 2. But to get from 3 to 8, I added 5. And then to get to 8 to 15, I added 7. Right? So I don't have a common difference. I'm not adding the same thing every time. To have a common difference, you've got to add the same thing every time. All right, so let's look at number 1. Mia Edwards, you there? What's up, girl? All right, number 1. Is that an arithmetic sequence or not? Exactly, okay. So this is an arithmetic sequence. So if it is an arithmetic sequence, what is the common difference?
Minus 4.
Great job. Okay, so now let's go ahead and set up the explicit formula one time. Right, one time for the one time. All right, so Mia, you give me enough. So let me have Dara, you there? All right, Dara. So I want to write the explicit formula. I want to write the explicit formula. So again, the explicit formula is a sub n equals a sub 1 plus n minus 1 times d. All right, so now let's plug in what we know, Dara. Because 4 is the first term. Great job. That's it, guys. There's your explicit formula. There's your common difference. So I could say, hey, all right, what's the 76th term? Well, guess what? All you got to do is take 76, plug it in place of n right there. So 76 minus 1, 75. Take that, multiply by negative 4, and then add 4 to that. Bing, you're done. It's a whole lot easier than typing in plus 7 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 plus negative 4 76 times. Easy breezy. Easy breezy. All right, last one. Come on, let's go. Taylor.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, pretty good.
What'd you do?
We just stayed home and watched football.
Oh, I know. I watch a whole lot. Like normally, I'm not a big football watcher because like I get enough of it during the week. Right? I'm a football coach. It's like by the end of the weekend, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to watch more of it. But it's been so long without football that that's all I did all weekend.
Yeah, nice.
So I did enjoy that. All right, Taylor, help me out. Is number 3
Okay.
a sequence or not?
No.
Okay. Why is it not a sequence?
Because, so from 7 to 10, it goes plus 3, and then from 10 to 16, it's plus 6.
So again, we don't have a common difference, right? We don't have a common difference. So if we don't have a common difference, if it's not adding the same thing every time, it is not a sequence. It is not an arithmetic sequence. Now, it could be what we call a geometric sequence. Okay, now we're not going to get into that. That's algebra 2. Okay, but an arithmetic sequence is adding the same number every time. Adding the same number every time. All right, so now